When we think about the body nowadays, we usually think of it as a collection of functional parts pieced together into a larger mechanism. Our heart pumps blood through the veins, so why not replace it with a stimulator that does the same job? Our brains store our memories and handle analytical tasks, so if we can outsource those functions to something artificial, what's stopping us? This mechanistic worldview fuels our obsession with tweaking and enhancing our natural faculties. Imagine a brain implant for superhuman memory or sharper thinking. Why settle for what nature gave us when we can upgrade? But here's the thing, and this is what fires me up. The body hasn't always been viewed in this way. In antiquity and the medieval ages, the mechanical roles of our organs were just faint echoes of a higher, divine order. Tampering with or enhancing them would have seemed utterly absurd, because our bodies are temporary vessels, manifesting immutable, eternal realities. Those realities hold the true meaning and purpose of human existence. In this video, I'm presenting a perspective on how we can understand our anatomy through the lens of higher truth. We'll start with Plato's insights in his dialogue Timaeus, then explore a poetic echo in Russian Silver Age poetry, and bridge to the profound metaphysics of Shaiva Tantra, showing how these traditions reveal the body as a sacred map to transcendent realms. Let's set the stage with Plato and his Timaeus. Translator Benjamin Jowett called it the most obscure and off-putting dialogue for modern readers. And it is not hard to see why. Approaching with our contemporary mindset is easy to dismiss as outdated mysticism. But here is a fascinating twist. In medieval times, Timaeus was Plato's most revered work. The Neoplatonist Proclus devoted 5 massive volumes of commentary to the slim 50-page dialogue. Why? Because its insights run incredibly deep, but only if we view it through the eyes of traditional wisdom, setting aside our modern biases. So let's do that and unpack what Plato says about the human body, tying it back to his broader philosophy. Plato observes that our organs are hierarchically organized, mirroring a cosmic order. Our eyes sit at the pinnacle of the head, closest to the heavens. Below them the ears for hearing sounds. Then the nose for smell, the tongue for taste, and the skin for touch, spread across the body but most acute at the extremities like hands, feet, and genitals. This isn't random anatomy, it's a blueprint. Consider the reach of each sense. Sight, the noblest and also anatomically the first, spans the farthest. We gaze at distant ships on the horizon or stars light years away. Hearing comes next, both in terms of distance and anatomy. We catch a wolf's howl from afar, or thunder rumbling overhead, but it's tethered closer to us than vision. Smell draws even nearer. We can sometimes smell things that are at a distance, but certainly not as far as we can hear. Touch hugs the body's boundary. We can only touch things that are at our proximity. And taste, Plato's lowest sense, dwells inside, intimate and internal. This hierarchy is undeniable even in purely empirical terms. Yet for Plato, it's no accident. It's a reflection of higher metaphysical realities, challenging those who see nature as chaotic or diverged from our inner intelligence. In his philosophy, the intellect bridges the so-called external world and the eternal realm of forms. Remember his allegory of the cave. The philosopher escapes shadows to behold the sunlit realm of ideas. We might think of this as the philosopher going out, but Plato means going in, into oneself. This inner light illuminates the philosopher, who recollects eternal truths through self-inquiry. Ultimately, contemplating this light is the source of all perception. Now let's peel back the layers, starting with sight and moving down, to reveal the profound meanings beneath. For Plato, sight isn't just about eyeballing everyday objects. It's the outgrowth of a deeper inner vision, the sight of the intellect. In Timaeus, he describes this inner sight projecting outward into the world, not the reverse. This extramission theory was later debunked by science, and even Aristotle, Plato's own student. But Plato wasn't talking literal physics. He had profound reasons for his view. For him, our intellect isn't a passive receiver. It's a generative force shaping reality. This inner light, this intellectual vision, is central to Platonism. Sight connects us to the world of perfect forms, the origin of all existence. Hearing plays a supportive role in Plato, secondary to sight, but vital. It's the sense that conveys harmony and proportion, which echo the mathematical order of the cosmos. In Timaeus, sound stirred the soul, reminding us of divine rhythms. But like sight, outer hearing reflects an inner attunement, the ability to hear what Pythagoreans believed to be the silent music of the spheres composed by the planets we observe in the night sky. Smell, lower down, ties to earthly discernment, bridging the material and subtle. Touch grounds us in the physical, marking boundaries, while taste, the most embodied, deals with nourishment. Each sense in Plato's view isn't isolated, it's a portal that points toward the forms, where true knowledge resides. This Platonic hierarchy isn't confined to ancient dialogues. It echoes through later artistic expressions, capturing the timeless tension between body and soul. For example, Nikolai Gumilov, the Russian Silver Age poet whose works all embody from his 1921 collection Pillar of Fire, brilliantly embodies these ideas, drawing directly from Platonic dualism. In the poem, structured as a philosophical dialogue, the soul laments its imprisonment in the contemptible human form, yearning for a higher paradise beyond earthly illusions, a clear nod to Plato's view of the body as a chain or prison for the immortal soul, as in the Phaedo. Then the speaker commands the body to respond, and it does so with raw sensory passion, revealing existence through love rooted in the physical world. The symbolism here is precise and evocative, mirroring Plato's descending order of senses while highlighting the body's limited, earthbound perspective. The stanza opens with vivid visual imagery. The sunset turned from gold to copper. The clouds were covered with a green rust. Sight at the forefront, the noblest sense reaching towards the heavens, just as Plato places eyes closest to the sky. But the body's reply plunges into more corporeal realms. I love to splash about in salty waves, touch and perhaps taste in the salt, to listen to the hawk's cries, hearing, secondary but expansive. I love to gallop on an unbroken horse across caraway-scented meadows, touch in motion and smell in the fragrance. It culminates in an intimate love, kissing a woman's downcast eyes, blending sense and touch, intoxicated as if thunder is approaching, hearing drawing near, or drinking spring water, taste, the most internal. Gumilov masterfully descends from distant, ethereal sight to the immediacy of touch and taste, showing bodily joys as fleeting sensory indulgences that end in irreparable final death. This isn't mere poetry, it's a poignant reminder of Plato's hierarchy, where higher senses connect us to eternal forms, while lower ones bind us to mortality. In our forgetful age, Gumilov's words stir this lost realization. The body isn't just a mechanism, it's a vessel echoing divine order, if only we'd listen beyond the surface. This brings us to an intriguing parallel in another ancient tradition, Shaiva Tantra, particularly the non-dual Kashmir Shaivism as illuminated by Christopher Wallace in his masterful book Tantra Illuminated. Wallace, a Sanskrit scholar and practitioner, unveils this rich Indian metaphysics. We'll see how it echoes yet expands on Platonic ideas. While not identical, the tantric view of the senses offers a complementary angle, reinforcing the idea that our bodies are microcosms of divine reality. In Shaiva Tantra, the universe unfolds through 36 tattvas, principles of reality, emanating from ultimate consciousness, Shiva Shakti. The senses or indriyas fit into this cascade, linked to subtle elements, tanmatras, and great elements, mahabhutas. Here is where it gets thought-provoking. Tantra also posits a hierarchy of senses, but based on subtlety rather than spatial reach. It's almost an inversion of Plato's order, yet both converge on the same insight: the senses as gateways to higher realization. In Tantra, the 5 knowledge senses align with the elements from subtlest to the grandest. Hearing, ears, linked to ether, space, the all-pervading void. Touch, skin, air. Sight, eyes, fire. Taste, tongue, water, and smell, nose, earth. Hearing reigns as the subtlest, connected to Shabda, vibration, the divine hum from which creation emerges. This isn't mere auditory input, it's attuning to the cosmic word, akin to Plato's Theoria, but elevated as the entry to non-dual awareness. Touch follows, sensing the winds of change and prana, life force. Sight, with its fiery essence, illuminates forms, but is more bound to duality, seeing this versus that. Taste and smell anchor us deeper in materiality, with smell as the more material, tied to Earth's solidity. Wallace emphasizes that these aren't just biological tools, they are expressions of Shiva's playful contraction into form. Through tantric practices like meditation on the tattvas or chakra Tantra activation, one ascends this hierarchy, dissolving limitations to realize everything as pure consciousness. The body becomes a yantra, a sacred diagram for awakening. Now linking Plato and Tantra, notice the resonance. Both see senses not as endpoints but reflections of transcendent orders, Plato's forms and Tantra's tattvas. In Plato, sight projects inner light outward, creating reality. In Tantra, hearing attunes to the inner vibration that manifests all. The hierarchies differ. Plato prioritizes vision's vast reach, Tantra hearing's subtle pervasiveness, but both ascend from gross to subtle, body to spirit. Plato's extramission echoes Tantra's view of perception as Shakti's outflow from consciousness, and crucially, both traditions ground body in higher metaphysical realities, which is often overlooked today. Plato warns against mistaking shadows for truth. Tantra teaches transcending Maya, illusion, without rejecting the world. The nuance matters, and I'm not claiming they're identical. Plato's idealism can seem dualistic, separating forms from matter, while non-dual Tantra embraces all as divine. Yet both point toward higher realization, recollecting Plato's anamnesis, or recognizing Tantra's pratyabhina, our innate divinity. In our era where bodies are hacked like a software, this is revolutionary. Imagine viewing your eyes not as cameras but portals to eternal ideas, your ears as tuned to cosmic vibration. It's not about rejecting enhancements but questioning their purpose. Do they draw us closer to meaning or further into mechanism? Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, like it and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next videos about philosophy.